I told the last speaker today that I would set the bar low for him so that he can do well. So here we are. We're talking about failure as a teaching method, right? We have these students who come in, they're people, they're interested in people. Technology is a tool. It's not necessarily something they're interested in for tech's sake. I teach design and development classes, so that's what we're talking about here today. This is what my class looks like this semester. It's almost all women. Pretty cool, right? And this is actually more men than I usually have. And this is a web development class. And, and these women come in and they have some ideas about what technology is and that maybe it's not totally for them. They're interested, but, there's a lot of things that they're bringing with them. And this is what they think is going to happen to them if they try this. Yeah, let's see. They're pretty sure this is what's going to happen. So, and maybe we're all a little afraid to fail, and that is okay. But what these beginners don't realize is that, you're really only spending like a fifth of your job actually writing code. The rest of the time, you're looking stuff up on Google, you're debugging, and you're working through these problems that you have to do. How often do you sit down and write a program from start to finish and it just works and nothing's ever wrong, right? But they don't know this, and they think it's them. So here's, an example, not working. Another one where things just still aren't working. And sometimes things aren't available, like this guy, apparently. So you might say that failure is inherent to technology, right? Yeah? It's really part of it. And something is always broken when you're working with technology. So that means that problem solving is key to getting these students to be able to solve technical issues, problems with their code, that kind of thing. So getting stuck is the deterrent here. We talk a lot about scaling the complexity of projects and about scaffolding learning as the best teaching practice. We do a lot of that kind of thinking, but we also have to think about teaching them to handle failure and scaffold that failure, make a conscious thought about what we're going to do about that. So with that in mind, we are going to give you 5 tips for adding failure to your classroom. And this might be easier for me than it is for you, but let's go through it. So the first thing is to introduce failure right away. I mean, day 1, day 2, right? It's got to be something that is part of the curriculum that you've thought about, not just on, day 15, but from the very beginning. And so what I usually do is the first day of class, I give them some basic code and I have them make something. And then I stomp around like Godzilla, tearing it up and giving them errors. And these are errors that are typical to the process, common errors that they're going to make anyway, and I just help them out by making them, and they get to fix them. And so they're a little grumpy about this the first day, but there's not a lot invested. It's only day 1, right? It's not so bad. So then day 2. We think about scaffolding our technical projects for students. So what we want to do here is, and this is what I call the missing step, I think. A lot of times we teach technology, we're so wanting to get to that step where we're teaching them the concepts, and that's great, and we do need to do that, that we forget about that middle step. So the first thing is to demo and to do a tutorial, right? You have to lead them through what it is you want. And this is good because it gives them a sense of the scope of the project that you want them to do, what that path looks like, what that workflow is like, and you can demonstrate by failing on your own what these common issues are going to be. So then you give them an exercise, different material, right? Transfer learning here, different material but the same thing. And as much as possible, you let them do this in class. Then you give them the assignment because then you're not going to have anybody who epically fails. The failure is going to be smaller and the design is going to be on their own. Then you can work on those concepts. So number 3, you need to make mistakes. And that's just part of it, making mistakes. And you need to make those mistakes and demonstrate that you make those mistakes as well, right? They think that you don't make them, demonstrate that. Number 4, you need to make it into a game or make it into something that's a little bit fun. So here's some examples of things I do in class. I have them rank documentation. I have them look up some documentation and then tell me, well, which one was the most helpful and why? Which one was the least helpful? We evaluate coded tools because I often choose the tool for them. Well, how about you try choosing the tool and you tell me which one you would teach in class? We also do scavenger hunts. Well, how would I solve this problem? What would I use to grab tweets off of this site? What would I use to make a light box in my website? And And finally, they really love fixing things that are broken and feeling excited about the fact that they got it. So fix that sad, broken code. And number 5, you have to practice it again and again and again. It has to be part of the class, and it has to be iterative, just like technology problems are. So non-technical students seem to have this, we're teaching them the A's to Z's of technology, but we got to get it to the point where they understand that it's information-driven, just what they were interested in journalism, that it's creative, and it's really empowering when you fix something that was wrong, or you get it to work, right? And so this is what you want them to look like, right? That's where you want to get them to. You want to get them to fun. You want to get them to what's fun and get them to be self-sufficient and to be able to solve their own problems, or at least most of them eventually. This is my favorite quote about computers. Computer lets you make more mistakes faster than any invention in human history, with the possible exceptions of handguns and tequila. So thank you. If you have any questions, my name is Erika Lee.